And we are live now. So I was just talking with Carrie before we hopped on. Y'all, YouTube is not user friendly when you're inviting someone for a stream. Like I looked up all of the things.
I can't hear you now.
You can't hear me?
No, I can't hear you now.
Okay, what about now? Can you hear me now?
I hear some beeping.
Can you hear me now?
I don't hear you.
Oh my gosh. Okay. You can't.
There's some strange beeping sound. Never before.
So I'm on with YouTube on this side, and on this screen, I'm on with Carrie. But Carrie, you
can't hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
I can't hear you. Shoot.
Okay. We were just fine.
Now you're frozen.
No, I'm not. No, I shouldn't be.
Bizarre.
Can you hear me now?
Do you think we have to... Oh, now. Yes.
I can hear you both. Okay.
Do you have someone in the YouTube?
Yes, I've got several watching on YouTube right now.
Okay.
So it's not user friendly. Can you hear me, Carrie?
Yes.
And it's not important that you even see me. I can even make. Let me just make. Carrie, I'm going to put you in the spotlight. How about that?
Oh no.
We're gonna make it bigger. Let's see if I can hit you. So okay, yeah, I think we're gonna do that. All right. So hey, hey Cian, help me, Cian. I know like you are totally laughing, girl. So just really quick to clarify, I know the picture may be a little off, but we're going with it. We're winging it. My camera's even off now. Carrie, can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. That's all that matters. Like Carrie, you hearing Carrie is the most important part. I thought that it would be super simple streaming here on YouTube to bring in a guest. And there are tutorials, friends. I have tried them. We're just going to keep moving forward. So here we go. This is a Playing With Me Live. And I used to do these. You're hearing the birds in the background because I'm on the porch. When we got on, Carrie was like, "Oh, I love your porch." And I was more concerned about the tech working. So I'm just going to, video's not even working over with Carrie. So, Carrie.
Yes.
We are excited that you were here. Can you please just introduce yourself and share who you are?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I am Carrie Coster from Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. I grew up in the DC area, but I've been at the beach along the East Coast for over 30 years now. My husband and I started a photography business about 25 years ago. He was a photographer right out of through college, out of high school, taking pictures of families on the beach, in the mountains, all over. And so just a quick little, when we got married, I was pregnant with our first child. I decided I did not want to keep working my corporate job. So I decided to start a photography business, which we did. And here we are.
Awesome.
25 years later. Yeah.
So it's interesting. And I love so it's an in-person. I mean, obviously there's a lot of physical components to what it is you do. And so for you, like we've had several conversations kind of behind the scenes, but for you, when did the idea come up with, oh, I think I want to launch a digital product?
So that has kind of just been maybe in the last year. I'm, taking a lot of courses, learning through other, online educators. And I have added photo organizing to our business about 6-7 years ago. I started in my own family's project, digitizing physical prints. And then obviously being married to a photographer, we have tens of thousands of photos of our kids over the years. So I found an online platform that I fell in love with, decided to start using it for our clients, helping them. And that turned into more, so it was Zoom in the beginning because it was during COVID. Now I do a monthly workshop for local clients. We do a lot in person. But my goal, so over the years, it's kind of evolved. It went from, I wanted this to be kind of more of a, I wouldn't say passive, but more of a something we can add a service to our larger company, which is the photography. We do family portraits. And so it became really big as far as the physical part of it. And then over the last year, I said, how can I turn this into an online course that I can serve our clients that don't live near us, that are all over? So it's just kind of been maybe in the last year, really. And then taking your course, I said, gosh, there's got to be ways I can put something together and offer it and sell it, all over.
Well, immediately. So I had posted something in the community and you're like, yeah, I'm finishing up something and I'm thinking about launching a low ticket around, or a digital product. It wasn't even low ticket, around photo organizing. And I like leapt all over her because right now that is a huge pain point for me. Like I have to do a lot of photographs for insurance for our house, right? And everything's on the phone and everything is cluttered. I used something a while back. I haven't used that. You talk about number of photos that need to be organized. To me, that project, it's a pain point, and it feels extremely overwhelming to me because I've got so many photos for so many different types of things, right? So Maggie just graduated. So graduation photos are in there with random photos, with insurance photos. So for me, immediately when you said, oh, I'm thinking about doing a photo organizing course, what do you think about that? I was like, yes. And I want you to be on the Plan With Me Live, because the reason, and I used to do these all the time, once a month with folks and bring them on and just kind of take that, what feels like. So for me, organizing all those photos feels extremely overwhelming. For you, launching a digital course, I don't know, does it feel overwhelming to you?
Yes. Yes. It's like, where do you start? I don't even.
Well, let's talk about that, because so this is the fun part for me. Isn't it funny that I can't organize my photos, but I certainly can organize a program or a low ticket or a digital product. So what have you done so far to get to this point? So I'm thinking about launching a digital product. You're talking about, I know that you've done some Facebook ads, right? You've taken some courses on Facebook ads.
Yes,
maybe?
Taking courses. Yeah.
What else have you done that kind of helps prepare you?
Well, just good question. That kind of stumps me because I feel like my head is in so many different places right now. And I attribute that kind of to AI, which I love, but it really like opens up so many ideas. And, I've been wanting to write a book. So I feel like I'm kind of all over the place. So that's probably, where I'm at right now. I see so many people offering courses, offering low ticket items. And I'm just like, gosh, this has got to be not easy, but there's just got to be a system to it. And where do you start? Like I've bought a template course on how to create templates. And then then I end up going over to, not Pinterest, but what's the thing that sells? Like I end up buying I end up buying a template for our photography planning guide, and so I'm just kind of all over the place. Like, where do you start? Do you start with that low? And I think that is where I started, was trying to find a template to sell. But then I was like, well, what is that template going to be? And then I went down a bunch of rabbit holes. And then when you were like, oh, let's do it around your photo organizing. Well, I have a ton of, and I think I've kind of showed you my flow that I use with my clients. But what piece of that can I start with,
So when we were talking, and even thank you for sharing, because I think what you just shared is where most people are. They see it and they're like, okay, people are doing it, so I know that I can do it. Number one. So now that mindset shift has switched to it's possible and I know that I can do it. So now let me educate myself, right? And when we educate ourselves, what do I need to start with? Okay, a template. And you went down the path of, let me just buy this template and then I'll customize it a little bit and then I will sell that. Well, then there's AI. And I think AI does make things simpler, but I think that you have to give AI context. And I think that you have to have a specific outcome really that you're looking for, right? And so you're talking about a couple of different things when we talk about a digital product. And for you, and I think is amazing is and I know this and others don't, so I'll go ahead and share it, is that you do workshops. So you are used to teaching, right? And then you also do retreats. And so, like, I hope that you guys hear and see, well, you can't see me, but how you hear, like, she has all of the pieces and parts. The physical business, she's the business part of the business. She sees where offering a digital product when clients can't work with her in person, yet they want to organize. That's like the biggest pain point, organize their photos. I think that there is a confidence, and I don't want you to feel like you're starting from the ground up because you've already been doing these in person workshops, right? So we're going to take some ideas from that. We've talked about potentially flipping it into a membership, right? And then we've also talked about these retreats. I mean, you've really got the full package. So we just need to get in and sort out all of the details. Does that sound like a good assessment?
Yes. Yeah.
The other thing is writing a book. So I think that AI makes that super simple as well. But you're probably going to start from scratch. You're going to figure out all of the pieces and parts and all of the things that you have to do. And I feel like we stay a lot in learning mode.
Yes.
And I feel like, do you feel like you're going to do it wrong? Do you have a fear of that?
Yes, or just not finish it. I'm more at the point now where I've done so many things. I'm like, I just feel like I fear I'm not going to finish it, but and do it wrong. Yes, but I think I'm more of the. I heard something years ago and it stuck with me. It says we all are so great at consuming, but are we great at producing? We're great at consuming information, but producing the content is where we struggle. And
Well, and two, the other things that we didn't even talk about is life. And we're not going to go into personal life, but you've got
Right.
some things that you're juggling there with life. And then right now for in-person business, I'm looking right behind you. That's a beach scene. It has to be like high season for you right now with graduation pictures and people going to the beach. I mean, aren't you
yes.
guys like the busiest season of all right now?
Yeah, so we're coming into it. Our busy season is from when kids get out of school, people start taking their vacations like this weekend, and then through the early fall. So we'll be pretty much but this is when we shift. So I'm really busy in the off season because I do a lot of the other projects and clients. And then this is when my husband gets super busy and I'm like more the support person. So he's out photographing. They're coming into our studio the next day for sales. He also is a boat captain. So when he's not out photographing, he's out on a boat. And this is when I'm like full on support, keeping things together. And then we kind of flip. So, and then again, back in the winter, I start taking on a lot of projects, doing a lot of client projects. Like right now, I kind of turn off my photo organizing client project mode, but I would love to get to a point between now and maybe, late fall that I could create this digital course, digital offering, launch it, you know, maybe even after our busy season, and then have this launch going through our winter season, because we like to take off in January, February, March, and that's when we kind of regroup. And that's like my goal with offering something online on that could be a little bit more, still going in the background when we're not working or when we're taking time off.
Well, and I appreciate the fact that you're sharing all of that, because I think it's one thing that I say it that life is busy and we're doing all of these things and you're running your business. Oh, I have an idea for a digital product. Let me go down that path. I think that what you're doing is really painting a picture. Like I could go to Cian, I could go to anyone that is in the chat right now and say, is this a good snapshot? Excuse the pun. of your life right now, because I think when we're at our busiest and we're juggling all the things, to me it's like I don't feel like I've had a lot of downtime in the past 2 years. We have these harebrained ideas of like, you know what, I think I'm going to go launch a digital product. So let's turn to that. It's interesting, I think, some of the things that you've attempted and you've purchased to turn around and sell. So I want to talk about those just really, really quickly. And then I'm going to ask really some specific questions about you, the business side of things, and the workshops and things that you host. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you said that you've purchased some photography templates. You purchased them because why?
Well, those were templates, things I need in our business. I didn't necessarily have the intention to turn around and sell them. Just because I feel like so many people out there produce these kind of templates.
Yep.
So a lot of our clients come from out of town, out of state. They might have the grandparents might live here, but the rest of the family. So I've always sent out this email, with a planning guide. Well, they make such beautiful ones, and it's Etsy. And so I found one on Etsy that I made my own, and that's now what I'm sending to our planning session for our clients that are coming into town for a portrait session. So that's more of that template. But where I was looking into creating templates was more for the photo organizing side of things, which I haven't really even thought about what that might be, other than like a guide or steps. I'm good at creating now custom chat GPTs that will walk people through photo organizing. And now, thanks to you, I love Trello, because I used Trello years ago. Like I started my book in Trello. I started so many things in Trello and then got away from it because I was in a CRM, but now I'm back in it. So as far as the template goes, I don't have an idea yet for a template.
Okay.
Or as you might call it, a low item.
A low ticket.
Right?
Yeah. A low ticket. Yeah. So I think that like you've already kind of created some of your bonuses, to be honest with you. And I want to stop here briefly and kind of give a take on these GPTs. I saw your GPT. I saw, it looks amazing, by the way. I would offer that more as a bonus versus, or as part of a program that you have. When you create the GPTs, you train the GPT, you input, you give it context, right? And whoever you share that GPT with, AI is collecting all of that data. And so it's great. And it really helps your person, I think, leverage their time and get to the thing that they're wanting to get to, right? So the GPT maybe helps organize their photos. It gets them where they need to be quickly, but you don't have any access to that data. And so the other part of a GPT that I want to bring up, and I see people launching these all the time, and I look at them and my first thing is, well, that's fantastic, but what is the purpose of the GPT? To let people know that they're good with AI? Because outside of that, unless it's part of the program, like I see the purpose for them, but I really want to safeguard that information. I don't want them to think, oh, well, I have the GPT now, I don't need to buy your product. I don't need you. But as a bonus in a product, if you're going to create the GPT like that, I think it would be a fantastic idea. I would also say that I would prefer you create a what they call an AI wrapper. And what that means is, just like you programmed the GPT, there are several quote unquote wrappers. And that is just, it just wraps AI. But the thing that you get with using an AI wrapper is that, and not rapper like music, because that just sounded funny, right? But the thing that you can get is data. And why would we want to collect the data from our customer? We want to see what their pain points are. We want to see how they're speaking about their pain point, because they're going to type in how they're thinking about the problem, right? And the language that they're using. That can help you in so many ways. That can be podcast episodes, blog post episodes, social media post episodes. You can use that information and put it in Chat GPT and say, give me a snapshot of my customer. What is the biggest pain point that they have right now? That you talk about topics for low ticket products or digital products. It is a treasure trove. YouTube episodes.
That's new to me.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
yeah, okay.
AI wrapper is new to me.
AI wrapper. So we're not going to go down a rabbit hole, but I did, since you mentioned GPTs, and we're talking low ticket, and we see so many of them out there in the wild right now, I really just wanted to put another perspective on that. Using a wrapper instead of a GPT, you have an opportunity to collect data. And you really want, like, your customer. I've been working with the same customer now for 6 or 7 years. And the information that they share with me and the way that I talk to my customer, I want them to say, oh my gosh, she's in my head. Is she at the door right now? Or are we having coffee right now? Like, you need to know how your customer is thinking about their problem. And the only way to do that is to collect data. And there are many different ways that you can do that. And using an AI wrapper is just one of the ways. It's the easiest way, quite frankly. It solves the problem for your customer. It's essentially a GPT, but you own the data. We'll say that. Okay. That's an easier way to explain it. You own the data, and you're both benefiting, because your customer is getting a solution very, very quickly, right? They're putting information in AI, and out spits the output, and oh, that's exactly what it was I needed. And then you're collecting the data, not in any negative way at all. You are collecting how they're talking about the problem. And then too, your AI becomes smarter and smarter and smarter over time, because it is trained specifically both on the context that you shared with it, but the inputs that your customer has shared with the AI. All right.
Interesting.
So right now, as you have it, it would be great as a bonus. I would not use that front to sell it. I would not use that. There is no way for you to capture email unless you do some sort of landing page, and then you collect their name and their email, and then it redirects to the GPT. Right? Okay. So we just need to be thinking about, how can we use AI in our programs? And that is one way that I would do that. Okay.
So yeah. And that's like with our photography clients. I created like one for our photography clients, and they don't get our planning guide or that link to ask questions until they've booked their session. So kind of similar, like it's just, a side. And we always want to talk to those clients. We don't want them to just rely on AI to ask the questions, but it's like you said, it's kind of like a bonus.
Yeah. Really quick, Cian is asking a question. I think that I explained it at the end. It's like GPT, but you keep the data. So it's essentially, and there are a lot of folks that are selling wrappers that are selling AI. But what they've done basically is, it's a software. There are lots of different ones that are out there. It's a software, and basically you program, i.e. a bot, you give it context, you program it to have outcomes, and then you can embed the bot, let's say, in your program, on a unpublished page on your website, and then you give your customer access to it, but you also can collect the data that they put in it. It's like a you collect. I mean, it's very simple. It's a Google sheet. It's a Google sheet. That's all it is.
Right.
And we can get into that. I'm not meaning to go down that rabbit hole,
Yeah.
but I did want to, since you mentioned it, I really did want to make that distinction, and that's how I would use a GPT. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So templates, creating templates, specifically for organizing. Have you purchased in the past a template that you could resell, or have you attempted to create a template that you can sell?
No,
Okay.
no, I haven't. I mean, I was part of an organization years back when I started photo organizing, and they had, this was like pre AI, pre template, a lot of template stuff.
Mhm.
And I would use and create from some of their ideas with templates. Flyers that I would hand out to clients or send to clients. So I probably have some things that I use, but I think, and you know this about me, is that I use one specific cloud platform.
Yep.
And that I'm affiliated with them as well. So I use a lot of their content in my trainings and my workshops. And most of the people that come to my workshops also use this platform. So I'm kind of like focused right into that one platform. And like I said, they create a lot that we can use with our clients to help them with organizing. But I've created like my own checklist of this is what you need to do to get started. So yes, I do have some things, and I've never purchased those. I've just created them in Canva.
Perfect. Okay. So that's great. That leads me to this question. And this really, when I think about a quick win, my idea around quick win has evolved over time. But I think with our digital products, and I'm just going to start with, for moving forward, I'm going to call them low ticket. Okay. The initial product that your person purchases, it needs to solve their problem in the fastest amount of time possible. And everyone who's on with me right now knows, like, I like to use a time frame of 10 minutes. And you're like, oh, Rhonda, I can't solve their photo organizing problem in 10 minutes. Well, we're talking about a sliver, like a very small step that, not knowing if they're tech savvy, and in all honesty, you really need to believe that they're not tech savvy. Okay. So they're not,
my clients are not.
Okay. So not tech savvy, but they have a pain of organizing. So the question is, if someone couldn't hire you in person, what one thing would you give them that would help them get started on their own?
Oh, that's a good question. And I don't know. I mean, I could share this with you. I don't know if I can grab it quick, but there's like a list of where to get started, and it lists all the places that they could have photographs, and it has them circle them, like it could be on their phone, on their computer, in boxes, and it has them circle them, and then it has them check the main one they want to get started with. But that's just like one step, right? So does anything come to your mind, like what you would think would help you?
Well, and guys in the chat, do me a favor too and tell me a pain that you have around photo organizing. Like, what is one thing, like if you could do it in 10 minutes and it would help you start, not fully organized, it would help you start to get organized, what would that be? So go ahead and put that in the chat for me, and I'll, as they pop up, Carrie, I'll let you know. What I would like, I think I would like to qualify the time. I really like 10-minute increments of time. It's a short amount of time. I know people go over, but I like 10 minutes. But also, I'm thinking of the number of photos to organize. So that really goes in line with what you're talking about. All the different types of photos. That's how we started the conversation, right? What do I have? I've got insurance photos, graduation photos, family vacation photos, random photos. All of that feels extremely overwhelming to organize. What would you say? That's what I need to organize. So what would you start with?
Right. Well, they have to kind of all come to either one place, or you start with, you start like, again, for me, and my, I use the online platform called forever.com, and a lot, but it's an investment. It's kind of like insurance for your photos. You have to invest in storage up front, but then you don't have a monthly payment like iCloud. Something were to happen to you right now, could your kids access your cloud account? I don't, for many people, the answer is no.
Mm-hmm.
But with the online cloud that I set my clients up with, it's set up like an insurance company. The owner set it up like an endowment, so that if something happened to me, my children, it's guaranteed that this company will be around for our lifetime plus 100 years. It's kind of like MetLife for your photographs. So for me, how I started as a client, invest in storage. You start with a minimal amount, or you start with a big amount, and we literally just start bringing all the photographs into that library, and then the software has tools that helps you organize them. And like this morning, I needed to find the title to our boat we're trying to sell, to send it to a new broker. I have all those insurance, I have all those titles for all of our cars, I have everything in this one account that my husband has access to, my kids have access to, and it doesn't have to be on a server or on the computer. That's how we used to do things. We have a server, we have a network through our home, but now they're all in the cloud as well. So I can show you the promise, like where we can get to, but I guess it's from the beginning to getting to there, is what you're asking. Like, what's like, are anybody having some pain points that they've come up with?
Yeah, so I wanted to let you finish that statement, because what you just shared with me, you are the expert. And what you shared is the Cadillac. You shared with me what I would say is the back end. And the back end is after you've gotten somebody a quick win. And a quick win, all of those things, servers and this and that, like
right. Most people are
that to me. So I'm overwhelmed with my photos and all of what you just said. That would overwhelm me even more, because I'm like, crap, I'm really not. And I'm not calling your baby ugly at all. I am. What I'm doing is sharing with you. You're amazing. And your knowledge of photography, I had 100% come to you because you've been in this business for 25 years. You have seen a lot of things. And this is the service that you believe is the best, right?
Right.
We do not start there, though.
Right. And see, this is where I probably have struggled in the last 2 years. When I was new to this, I was new to it. So I was coming at it from a beginner, even though I've had experience. And I felt like I connected with those clients more because I knew the beginning. But now I've done so many projects for clients. I always come at it with the big picture, and I probably overwhelm people. So this is great. Like, this feedback is what I need to get back to the beginning. And yes.
So when your client comes in, you're already kind of in your mind going, okay, I know where we're going. Yep. I see where you're overwhelmed. Okay. Just give it to me and let me do it, because I know that I can get this done. Right.
Right.
But in the beginning, someone needs that first step with a low ticket. That is, all right. I see Carrie as a expert. She's been in photography for 25 years. I don't know that I trust her. I don't know. I don't know if I trust her and my photos. Man, those are precious. Silly things. I know Cian's on here, her grandbaby. I know she's got gazillion photos, Cian, of that grandbaby. She moved close to be with her grandbaby. So I'm sure initially those things for her, she's like, how can I organize? How can I keep them? And when you said trust, like that is definitely a behind the scenes back end program. Because when you talk about trust, I mean, we're doing trust with everything that we're doing. That's like retirement. Like I'm thinking trust, retirement, property, like all of those things. And you're like, trust with photos? What magic is she talking about, right? Okay.
Right.
So I just wanted
Right.
to make that comment. But here, I want to give you some feedback. So Nails In said categories like album names. So you're like, oh, well, that's simple. It needs to be simple. Like we need because I've done this too. It's interesting that that even comes up. The first thing that I use categories, I'm like, well, do I do dogs and do I do family and then do I do holidays? Like how many categories do I need? I'm feeling overwhelmed by categories because
Right.
I need to look to see how many pictures I have. And you're doing so good because guys, I'm going to tell you right now, Carrie is just sitting there talking to her screen right now. She cannot see me. You are doing amazing.
I know. I don't see. Maybe it's a good, like, I don't see everybody. So maybe
No,
it's easier.
it's
I
awesome.
No, but I don't know.
Okay. And so
I'm just talking to myself. I'm used to it.
Cian,
I live with two men. I talk to and now my daughter will be home tomorrow, but
that's awesome. That's awesome. Let me see if I.
But yeah, to get to some of those easier, things.
Okay.
I love this.
Okay, so categories, album names, and then Cian says, I would just like a way to automate it. I have so many photos, both the digital and prints. So take a note of that because I think that's two different problems that you're solving. A physical photo, I think we start with digital, and then physical, that could be a bonus or that could be an additional offer that we make. Rhonda says, how to put in albums while deleting them from the general population of photos. Google doesn't have that option.
I know. So I was going to just make a note with technology because everybody wants all of this done automatically for them.
Yep.
And I totally get it. That's why most of my clients don't, not most, a lot of my clients will start and then they I'm trying to think. So we get a lot of clients, all of their things organized and digitized, but it's the maintenance. There's nothing manual or automated about us taking lots of pictures of everything and anything, but the technology is coming around. Like, there's a new declutter tool, but yeah. So I can go on about that, but keep going. Was there more? I'm sorry.
Yes. But I love that.
I have a list of categories like that most people like to use. So a list of categories. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and I think that Nails In said yes, like in all caps, and the S is S. And then Cian is like, I agree. And then Nails In says, I feel like 100 categories and albums can make me just as bad as 1,000 photos. So that is amazing and then you know what? You just put together, I've got top categories. Could you do 10 top categories and a easy system to organize those organize your photos in those categories on the phone? Rhonda says, I do a lot of screenshots from webinars with my phone and I can organize them in albums in Google, but I can't delete them from my camera roll and keep them in my album. So that's a little, that's a tech.
Right.
And I kind of feel the same way. I mean, with Apple products, like you sync everything and like my photos are on my tablet, my photos are on my laptop, my photos are everywhere. And I've got thousands of photos and it's a hot mess.
Yeah, it is. And once you delete them, you're deleting them from both if you're syncing. So that's the online cloud program I use. So it's like, oh gosh, how do I compare it to? Because like Google, Apple does so much cool technology and it's starting facial rec and all of that by having them in a separate source that like every day my phone backs up to this cloud source. And it's in a library. And once a month, like my system is once a month, I go in and I bring my favorites from the library into those categories, those albums, so that every year I have travel is organized. And it's now, in the beginning, it takes time, but now I have a system that literally just takes me 10 minutes a month to bring those favorites over to the categories I've created. And now I have, every month, every year of our lives are documented in this account, and that our kids will have someday. This is what I love. Like my kids, they're in their early 20s, and they'll post something on social media, and it'll be a picture of like saying happy birthday to their sibling with a photo from when their sibling was 4. I mean, isn't that cool? Like thinking that, like,
yes, but what you just said. So, hey friends, we're going to have Carrie also launch a membership, because I don't know if you heard yourself, my clients will initially set these things up, but then they stop. Like that is like, that's the killer of everything, is consistency. Yeah. And what do memberships do? Their accountability.
Yeah. And that's why I do these monthly in-person workshops, but they're not highly attended.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if I did something online, people would be more willing to sit at their computer and do the work than to lug their laptop down to the beautiful beach where we go, which you would think people would like that opportunity. But I think in now day and age, and especially with people all across, like most of my clients are out of state, because I worked with them, through our portrait. That's how I've gotten a lot of my clients, are through our portrait email list. So.
Okay. So, and I love that, Rhonda, too, that think about that. We think about our phone as personal, but Rhonda just shared a case study here where she is taking screenshots for her business from webinars. So have you thought about, I mean, that's a bonus. The top categories for business to organize your photos on your phone. I mean, and that, I mean, that could be for online business owners, or, people who work their 9 to 5 that maybe go to conferences that take pictures of things and want to go back and reference. And so I think that it's an initial, what is my first step? What we're chasing, Carrie, we're chasing a dopamine hit. And that dopamine hit is, I need to organize X number of photos in these categories, and I need to do it consistently initially for, I'm going to use like a short amount of time. We'll say 4 days, 5 days. And then I'm going to want the next thing from you, and then the next thing from you. And so that's why I see the quick win. I see the quick win maybe with 1, maybe 2 order bumps, but I really feel like this goes into a membership. The membership is accountability, like putting that time on the calendar for you to actually do the work. But also I think that you could have a lot of fun, and you've done workshops over the years, like your most popular workshops. How do I take digital photos and make a digital scrapbook? I mean, I know there are chat books and all kinds of other digital programs that are highly like successful. Like how can we do that as a club, as a membership, right?
Right.
And then offer, I know your retreats, are they just once a year?
Yes.
Okay. So a retreat, maybe you have a smaller group coaching program, believe it or not, or a smaller group program. And part of that is the retreat. And part of that goes more into detail about how do we take these photos and put them into what we would call a trust. And I don't even know if I'm saying this correctly, but where all of the important information, if something happened to me, the kids would know, Daniel would know, anybody could in my circle could access this information. I think that that's really, really, really important, because I know Cian put in here, after moving, I have boxes of prints that I want to scan and then upload to a cloud somewhere so I can dispose of the prints. Would you suggest disposing of the prints?
Well, as being married to a photographer who's also a hoarder, I won't say that he doesn't get rid of anything, but photographers always recommend, and the industry standard is to try to have 3 copies of all of your photographs, all of your important photos. So I consider a physical print a copy. I consider the cloud a copy, and then I consider what's on our computer, our local server, a copy. So that's 3 copies. So I do have clients that throw things away. I personally suggest if you're going through your things and you get them digitized, you might want to make a box of your most important memories. But I have I have tips on sorting, like how to sort, knowing what to digitize, knowing what you want to pick to digitize. But some of my elder clients, like I'll digitize them. They have access to the online, enjoying the memories, and then they let their kids dispose of or keep what they want. So I hope that answers the question. Like I have a box here that a client moved last year, and she gave me her box of thousands of slides to digitize. And I made her sign something saying that I can dispose of them for her because she was adamant she did not want them. And I said, okay, I'm still sitting with them. But, I'm like, okay. And she moved, and we've kind of lost touch in her move. But she has access to everything. And I'm like, okay, I think it's time to throw those away.
Yeah. So Cian says, my millennial boys have zero interest in hanging on to my stuff.
Yeah.
I love that, Cian.
Yeah.
So I might as well put it in the cloud. So maybe my grandchildren will have them. That's funny.
Yes, absolutely. And like my kids, they don't want all of our stuff, but they love the fact that I've done this for them with the photographs. And if they had to go access my husband's files, they would. It's like going into an attic with too much. By me having our favorites, our most important stories, and even me, I probably still have more pictures than my kids will need someday in my forever account. But that's just me. But it is the younger generations do not want the physical things. Now that's where when you have time to start making like some photo books, scrapbooks out of your photos, that's the fun part. Because then you do still have physical pictures to enjoy.
Yep. Someone's driving up my driveway, so the dogs may bark.
Okay.
All right. So I want to take these last few minutes, and Carrie, I really appreciate. So I hope the folks that are watching and then watch the replay are getting as much out of this. Like you're sharing your expertise on preservation of photos and memories. So I appreciate you sharing that as well. And then folks that are watching are getting out how we're going through this process and really delineating what is expert knowledge and down the road and what is front end and what we could launch. I want to think about, I think it's great that you have done a lot of research. And I'm going to say, as far as thinking about Facebook ads. However, my approach to low ticket is different in that, I eventually want to get to what I would call scaling. And scaling would be putting money behind your product to advertise it to the masses. I think initially we launch our low ticket to our warm audience, people that you have worked with over the past 25 years, people who are on your email list. And it's like, I have this template, and we're going to talk about like the format. I have this template, but I'm just going to say, I have this template. And I keep getting this question, and like the minimal viable asset that we launch, like it's literally just like the template. And your goal is in launching that, for me, in my experience, has been to get to those first 100 customers. And that also means you having, I would even say onboarding sessions. And you're like, Rhonda, with a template, I want you to show them how to use that template, how to get the most out of that template. But I want you to give them an opportunity when you get to a frequently asked question or what questions do you have, that is your gold. You think that your template is so simple to use and you think that your system is so simple. What those folks are going to share with you are what problems they're having around your template, what next questions or next product that you potentially could offer. They will share that information with you. They will share the language around how they're organizing, how they're sorting, if your top 10 categories are the right top 10 categories, right? Maybe we should add a couple bonus, or maybe there's something that you didn't think about. Customer feedback in those first sales, to me, can make or break the whole funnel. And that is gold that you can't, you can't buy that. And you going into a community saying, well, do you think that my customer would like XYZ? Well, if you're selling a product, ask your customer. Your customer will tell you. That it's almost like I talk a lot of times about going into a lab. That is your lab. And well, Rhonda, how long is it going to take me to get to 100 sales? As long as it takes you to get to 100 sales. And you're going to get maybe 25 in and you're like, oh my gosh, I am struggling to get these sales. Is this the right way? Should I keep going this way? Keep going. Keep going. It's in the struggle where you find your breakthroughs. And this is definitely, I feel, digital photo organization, a big, big problem and a big struggle. And so going back, if someone couldn't hire you in person, what one thing would you give them to help them get started on their own? A very simple, quick win to get them started. And I think you've gotten a lot of good suggestions from our live audience. So I appreciate that.
Me too.
And even like thinking nails in, and that's what her profile picture is there. That's what her profile is saying. The whole idea around albums, Carrie, I really, really like that. It is such a small sliver. It is a starting point.
Yeah. And that's the one I circled.
Yeah. And with that, so
categories and albums.
Yes. And so a follow-up question specifically around albums and categories that don't feel overwhelming. Like, what questions would your clients that you've worked with in the past, how have they struggled with albums? How have they struggled with categories? So now, like, we're really drilling in on one specific pain, and how can we solve that? How could you solve that simply? And I do not want you to overcomplicate this. If so, this is kind of leading a little bit into next week, but when I do the onboarding for the Business Command Center and people ask me questions as the expert in quote unquote organization, right? I'm like, oh, you do this. And I don't think anything of it. And so I don't want you to dismiss what is so simple for you. Because, and I'll go ahead and reveal that I launched a simple social template and I've almost sold 600 of them.
Wow.
And I was able to do that in 48 hours. Why? It is a system that I'm currently using. All I did was document that system and put it into a template for people to purchase. So based on albums, I'm drilling in based on albums and categories.
Right.
What system are you currently using that literally you could put it out in the world tomorrow if I put your feet to the fire? I don't need 10 videos. They don't have to be 20 minutes long. You don't have to give me a lot of context where if I'm sitting there in front of you, my face is sliding off because there's so much information. Literally, like, how can you help me? We're not in the same room. Get me started with my albums and categories.
Right.
And then I'll just follow up with what format would feel easiest for you to deliver. Now, I know we've talked about Trello. Trello is easy. Is there an easier way for your customer? It doesn't have to be Trello. It literally could be a pretty PDF checklist. It could be a pretty PDF that is fillable that they could take some notes on, and you do a video overview of that, and you do it on Loom or whatever screen recording you do. That's your product. That's your product that you get somebody started with.
I guess that's where I get hung up too, is the delivery, because I see everybody doing different, like course out on, there's so many courses out there, like platform.
Right.
And
so my thing is like, what is easiest for you? What is easiest for you to collect money, and what is easiest for you to deliver? And that's kind of another conversation, but I don't want you to overthink it. I don't want you to spend a lot of money on it. I don't want you to spend a lot of money on fancy funnel software or none of that. And I really, like, we've got the foundational knowledge for Facebook ads, but honest to goodness, all I want you in is creation mode of this template, of this quick win. You got an email list. You got some clients that are coming into town. It's almost a beautiful thing because they're in person. Like if I was coming into town, hey, Rhonda, I know your family's in town for this, but I'm working on something. Do you mind giving me some feedback on this? Included with their package. I'm not saying give this thing away for free. I don't want you to give it away for free. And I don't want you to do exchange for testimonial either. People need to have some skin in the game. They really do. So
are you going to go, is this what you're going to start going over on the 4th of June? Like,
yeah, we're going
to more of this too.
Yes, we're going to talk about, yes, we will talk about it. And guys, just so you know, this came before that workshop. So this is not a promotion of that additional workshop, but yes, I'm going to go a little bit more into detail about low ticket, but I feel like you have what we've gone over today. You've got some great ideas, and guys that are watching, thank you so much. Let me see. Hold on. Let me look here. Okay. Rhonda says, I scan photos from albums and then sorted them into boxes for each of my children, but the scans are a whole other issue. Carrie, oh my gosh. Like you've got, thank you for everyone who's watching.
Yes.
You have content for days, friends, and how we organize this, like on the back end. We've got to get them the quick win. There is enough questions around organizing photos, digital, physical, business, personal, a membership. Like I see this.
And you could be my beta. You can help me be my beta launcher.
And then Cian says, and since I live in tornado and hurricane land, I would love to have it. She said she'd love to have it in the cloud. You know, Cian, that adds a whole nother layer as someone who has experienced. I didn't lose any of them. I lost, out of everything that we lost, I lost one photo of my sister and I that when we were babies. But that is a whole other level. That's an ad angle, if I'm being honest. A couple of things just really quickly as we close down, and I want to answer any questions you have and questions in the thread here. Low ticket product ideas. I like having 10 minutes in there. Something around I like memory keeper, but I like to be a little bit more specific. If we said maybe a digital photo keeper, the ultimate photo decluttering checklist. I mean, that's kind of okay. I'm really liking the photo keeper, but it just really, again, I can't stress to you enough, whatever system that we can get somebody a quick win, like that's what we want to go after. And then when you get up to your first 100 customers, a beautiful order bump is literally a 15-minute call with these folks. and saying, how are you using this? What have you found? And each person, the whole idea is, I mean, everybody has a maybe a different end goal, is that people get to see an eclectic mix of, say, 10 customers who are using your system and how they're using it. Everybody loves.
That's so once they've ordered it, I schedule.
So
And
no,
when you say bump.
an order bump would be like they buy this initial template, and
Mhm.
then the next thing in the funnel would be like a snapshot. You know how I did mine? You got the business command center and then the customer snapshot. Customer snapshot are 8 customers who are using my template.
Oh, right. Yes. Yep.
And that's all it is. It's a recording.
Okay.
And people love those. And it's done very well. And the reason why you do that, for folks that are watching online, the reason why you do that is because you do have to think about ad cost. And the whole idea behind a low ticket is when you do launch that with ads, you're liquidating your ad cost. And so by liquidating your ad cost, you have to have a higher average order value, meaning they're purchasing things inside of your funnel. Okay. But
that's where I'm kind of new with all of that. Even though I feel like I consumed and watched, but I still selling things, funnels, those have been on my list to do, and I've still never done one. Like, believe it or not, even with our photography, I've never done funnels or anything.
Well, I tell you what, Maggie just had her graduation, and those people, I mean, they're stalkers. Like, I've gotten something in the mail. She gets emails all the time. I mean, they're crazy about us buying those pictures.
Right.
And the packages are none of the packages are what I want. I want just like the simple 8x10 and some 5x7s and like call it a day. I don't need all of the other things. But so to me, your to-do list is, does the quick win, is that as simple as creating albums? And here are your top 10 categories to easily organize your digital photos. And I'm going to put a timer, like 10 minutes in there. And I'm also going to throw like your first 100 photos. Organize your first 100 photos in, I don't know how many minutes it would take to organize 100 photos. Maybe it's your first 50. When you get this system set up, how many photos can you organize in X number of minutes? Because then they'll purchase and they won't think about, people always feel like it's new technology, it's new stuff, I need to set aside time, and they don't get to it. I mean, the purpose of any template or system that we share is they're actually implementing, right?
Right.
And that is all that I want you to focus on. That's all you need to focus on. So you literally could get something out the door very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And your first customers are those customers that are coming to you right now for your beach shots.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
For them, since they've already paid you, this could be an added value to get your initial feedback. And then when you get that initial feedback, make any tweaks, and then we can go to your email list and previous customers that you've worked with. That's it. Like, that's literally it. We're coming up with a quick win. We're putting, I love 27. We've got to figure out a way to collect the money and deliver it to them. And there are very easy ways that we can do that.
Okay. Yeah, but that'll be the next part.
Yeah, that is the next part.
Yeah.
The biggest is, we're not overthinking. We're not overcomplicating. It's literally can be a template. How you deliver it. It could be Trello. I'm saying it could also be a really pretty PDF that they look like they look at it on their phone. How can they copy it from the PDF and put it into their photos to start organizing?
Okay. Got it.
That is the biggest problem that we need to knock down. Guys, do you have any other questions? I know we're going over a little bit. We've gone over just a few minutes. CN says, I thought about those poor families in California after the wildfires. I know, it's horrible.
Mhm.
Um,
Yes, I know. My community that I'm in, we're always, talking about that. And you hate to scare people with using that in our marketing, but it's sad, that we have so many memories in our homes that we don't think about losing until something tragic happens. So
it only takes, I think the first, and I understand you don't want to capitalize on somebody's pain. You don't want to put a
I
fear. I don't think we're there yet. I think where we need to be is the pain of I'm carrying around thousands of photos on my phone, and how
mhm,
do I start to organize them
right,
the
yeah,
easiest way possible?
yeah,
Um, and that's the
yeah,
only.
and I
Go ahead.
yeah, we do start there. That's totally opposite. A lot of times I do start with the physical things, but this is good. Like I feel like this is something, especially going, for going forward. A lot of people do have those pain points of the photos on their phone. But I just like what your whoever was on there, I forget what her name was saying about the physical stuff. That is something on a lot of people's mind that I work with. So I'm just validating what she said.
Yeah, well, but it is a real thing. I live in tornado country. Yeah, Rhonda. And I think for me, if I'm being honest, there is like whenever we have storms at night, like
Mm,
I get really scared now
mm,
from the tree falling through the house. I mean, I
mm,
just never thought that would happen. I would never thought I would be in this situation. And
yeah,
so, yes, Rhonda, I'm validating what
yeah,
you're saying. But I think
yeah.
though too, Carrie, it's a very, we start with a simple solution, and
Right.
all of the additional, the physical and more in depth, that's on the
Mm,
back end. And I think
mm,
that could be in a members area in a membership.
mm-hmm. Okay. I love it. Well, thank you. This
Yes. Well,
has
thank you.
been great, and I appreciate everyone giving what you know their pain points are, and these. And like I said 7 years ago when I started this, I started with those more simple things because that's where my mind was at. And now it's like I've needed someone to bring me back down because when I work, now I'm like, and I've heard you say this, you get frustrated with the immensity of projects, whatever the project is. And when you're working with clients, it's like, okay, I need to go back to my roots of simplicity, um, and having people have wins and not getting frustrated and not just getting started because it's so overwhelming. And that's probably been part of my delivery is overwhelming. Like these are all the things we're gonna do.
Well, I think sometimes in getting that feedback is like it's really clear to you, it's clear as mud to them, and it really doesn't matter about you. It matters more to what your customer says, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some of the ads that I launch, it's funny. It's like I don't think that's a good ad, but it's like the best. It works the best, and I'm like, if it works the best and it attracts my dream customer, that's exactly what I want to be doing. Um,
Right.
Really quickly, I want to summarize everything we've kind of talked about here. Carrie is, she has been, her and her husband have been in photography for 25 years. And several years ago, she started thinking about launching a digital product. She, like a lot of us, has gone into research mode from how to launch a product to Facebook ads, and really thinking like, how can I get that first thing out the door? Like, I don't want you to go 6 months from now and launch something. I would love to for you to launch something in the next 30 days. What's interesting is, she, while commenting on the low ticket that she wants to launch, um, also mentioned they're getting ready to get into the height. Even though her husband is the photographer, she's the business part. She is the organizer on the back end. But they're going into the height of season. Um, a lot of family things, that we're juggling as well. And then, oh, let me launch a digital product. And so, what we really were able to do today is to focus on the quick win. How can someone, and one of the things, Carrie, I talk about this, when I am launching a low ticket. It's that bucket system where if I was just looking in a bucket and I saw all the pieces and parts, even if it's a digital bucket, I'd be able to put that stuff together and get a quick win. They could do it with you, which is better, or they could do it without you, which is good too. Um, and so I really think the delivery of how to solve the initial problem of organizing your digital photos, that's the quick win, and you can do it in 10 minutes. And so that literally is your homework. We're not worrying about fancy software. We're not running Facebook ads. We don't need to be running Facebook ads until at least you've got 100 customers under your belt. In all honesty,
Yeah.
it makes me mad with these gurus. Oh, you can be up and running in 24 hours and you can make $1 million and you can. I'm like, well,
I know.
it would be nice if it was that easy. It ain't that easy, friends.
No. I know. Another photographer has us almost talked into. It's called high level something.
Yeah,
And
go
I'm like,
go high level. Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah,
I'm like, that is so overwhelming.
yeah. I want the
Yeah.
simplest. You could manage it on your own. If you decided to hire a team member, you could have one person that worked with you. But it needs to be so super simple. It doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be an overwhelming. Adding a piece of software like Go High Level, then I mean, you might as well have somebody that's managing that for you. That's going to be an expense, and we haven't made any money from the thing that we initially launched yet, right? So I think I'm more like ground level, boots on the ground. Like, let's get something out the door.
Okay, now and then, so starting with this, but now will you also down the road be teaching, and maybe you have some of this in your program, as like once we start selling and people want to become part of a membership,
Yep.
can you help with that? Like,
Yes.
we go with that.
Yeah. 100%.
Okay.
I love
Awesome.
I love memberships. All right. Yeah, Cian says done is better than perfect. Cian, thank you, thank you, thank you. Rhonda, thank you. Left me with a lot of ideas. It's funny saying thank you, like Rhonda, thank you. Nails in 12. I should say nails in 12. Thank you. Yeah. So, and thank you so much, Carrie. I appreciate you. This was great.
Thank you. I appreciate you. And when you had mentioned this, it was like, this is just what I needed to wrap my head around. So I'm so grateful. I'm glad I found you.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate
not
that.
too long ago. Yeah.
So we're looking at just the minimal vial product. And as you put that together, questions are going to pop up. And you know that you can always hit the Help Me Rhonda button. And I'm there for you.
Okay. Awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
And thank you guys for like all of like the crazy tech. I mean, I know this is like so crazy, but you know what? It worked. It worked.
Good.
We did it.
Yay. Yay.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.